Hi. You can see the lights are on. I can't sleep. I wanted to talk, I guess. Fresh wounds. I was digging a hole in the nighttime. A burial hole. The worst kind. And I had a dog and a duck. And my dog got sick and died in a bathtub. And they say that when, you know, like something's dying, that when they die, then all the poop comes out of them. But in the case of my dog, all the poop came out of my dog, and then she stayed alive for a long time, but she was just completely shit everything out then and lived afterwards, and then died in the bathtub. And it was pretty rough. And she was 16 years old. So I was digging this really big hole. Really big hole. I'm standing in it because it's got to be deep, and it's my dog. And you know, she was like I don't know, like a knee-high dog or whatever, or like their backs reach your knees, but then their head's higher than that or whatever. It's a big, I don't know, mid-sized dog. You've seen her in videos and stuff, right? So I'm digging this hole to bury my dog in, and I see so many people, and they see me standing in the hole digging it out. Not one single person asked me what I was doing, or even thought like, he's making a hole so deep that he's standing in it. You're burying a pet? Like, what could I have been doing? Nobody asked. I thought that was weird. You know, and usually I'm like, yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. People aren't paying attention. But I'm like, yeah, I'm standing in a hole. You don't have any curiosity what it is I'm doing? Yeah, so anyway, I buried my dog to little and no fanfare. Oh, boo-hoo. Scott, nobody gave you hugs because your dog died? Well, I don't know, maybe. No, I don't know. I never had that happen before. This is that dog. This is the dog where I'm like, you know, I've heard people say this that are older than me. Like, we're like, no, I had that one dog, and after that dog died, we don't get any more dogs. We don't want any more pets because that dog lived for so long that we became attached to it. And, you know, then when it died, we don't want pets anymore. We had we put new linoleum in. It doesn't have that smell anymore. No pets. We miss Fluffy too much. We could never have another dog. Not like Stub. Oh, we're done with pets. So I had that dog. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can get another dog. Although I had entertained it. I was like, yeah, let's get another dog. But I'm not going to get another dog. But the thing about it is, I had a duck that I could pet, that wanted to be petted. And she would make a noise when she wanted to be petted. I don't know, like a duck cooing. I don't know what else you call it. And then the duck would insist on being petted. And if I wasn't paying attention, then she'd start quacking. And then when she'd quack, 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 and then she'd go back to making that noise of like, come pet me. And then I would pet the duck, and she would shut up. And then, when the duck had had enough, it would abruptly end when the duck would just get up and flap her wings and like, nope, that's it, I don't want to be petted anymore. That's it. I saw a bug or a mite or something. So weirdly, when the dog died, the dog and the duck, I don't know what they did out there, but they used to run around and make noises and stuff. I never saw the dog with the duck in its teeth, and the duck was never hurt or anything. But the dog and the duck used to goof around outside. And, you know, sometimes I'd be watching, and they'd just be like, why are they so close together? Like, why do they do anything together? I don't know, because they're my beasts or something, because I fed them. Probably that has a lot to do with it in some way, right? So the dog knew that it couldn't eat my duck, and the duck knew that it was absolutely defenseless to do anything to not be eaten by that dog. So somehow they made it work, because I would have not liked it if the dog had ever hurt the duck. Okay, you get this? I know this is, why am I talking about this? Just let me mourn the loss of my duck. Alright, so I'll get to the duck part. So I had this duck, and after my dog died, the duck got close with me. Does that make sense? It just wanted to be pet more all the time, and would make noises and want attention, and just do weird stuff like in my presence. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I'd play with the duck more, and it was nice. And then my duck started not feeling so well, and there's not a lot you can do. You know, and it's like where they tell you, well, look, either it's going to get better or it's not going to get better. And if it doesn't get better, then probably it's going to die. So the duck was getting better. And then stopped. So the duck was not feeling good. And then getting better. And I could tell because it was like, something's wrong with the duck. She's not making any noise. She's not really moving very much, but every time I come out, she's like, oh, look here, I'm fine, I'm drinking water. So she'd drink water, but then wouldn't do anything else. Like if I looked at her for too long, she'd have a drink of water or something. It was weird. So, you know, she wasn't really doing anything, and I thought, something's not right. And she had a pond of water, which I have to change all the time. It has to be clean. So it stayed clean, and I'm like, gosh, she's not even going in the water. So then the evening came, and I thought, I'm going to check on the duck and see if she needs some food. But, well, she did need food, but then I saw her in the duck pool, and I thought, oh, she's in the duck pool. But that's when I realized her neck was dangling over the side of the pool, you know, the pool of water. And I thought, that's not good. Either she's so sick that she can't keep her head up, or she's dead. So then I put gloves on, and I picked her up. And I looked at her eyes, and I'm like, oh, she's sick. And that's bad, too, because I don't know what to do. And then I was like, no, she's dead. She was dead. And it felt so light, and the body was stiff and everything. And you can tell when an animal's dead. And she didn't weigh anything. That was the part that was weird to me. I was like, oh, she felt like a prop. You know, like, oh, this is a prop of a dry, dead duck, you know, for a TV show or something. And it's filled with foam or something. But it was just my duck, and it was dead. And it was dark. So I got the shovel, and I have these lights that were given. I don't know if this matters, but this anyway, just let me finish. I have these lights that were given to me that are solar lights, but they're like 7,000 lumens. It's crazy. So there's a battery that's in them, but they're also solar lights. I never put them up. They're supposed to hang off of my porch. So I used them as a digging light. So I turned it on, solar powered, whatever. It was running on the battery. So I turned on these 7,000 lumen lights, and I'm digging a hole in my backyard. And I'm like, well, I know how deep I have to go to bury my duck. So I put her in the ground. I dug. It was really easy to dig. The soil's so good. It's, you know, that's my boast or whatever in an episode where I'm mourning lots of my duck. Oh, no, it really does bother me, though. It was my duck, you know. So, oh, man. So I buried the duck. And then I had to do a lot of like, oh, look at all this ground. So I had to stomp down the ground on top of the duck that I buried. And all this is in the dark. And I have these yard sensor lights that, like, it would stay on for a while. Like, it's going to be on for 20 seconds, and then it shuts off. And then it comes back on again, like, immediately, because it sees me shoveling. And that's how I'm digging this hole. And I felt like I was digging a grave for a Beetlejuice with blinking lights. Stupid. And it was so easy to dig the dirt, it wasn't even really like digging dirt. So now my duck's buried there, so I can't plant food. And I have a rock as a funeral marker. And I will go out with a Sharpie and write the name of my duck on the stone, so I remember to mow around that and whatever, because, you know, until the body rots or whatever. So I made a flower bed over my dog. And I'm like, okay, no food can go there. So I have 2 arborvitaes on each side of it. which were a gift. Somebody was throwing them away, and I said, "Can I have those?" And they said, "Yeah, just take them. Just get them out of here." So I have 2 really good, healthy arborvitaes that survived over the winter in like pots outside. I don't know what they're huge. They're like in these huge, like, hey, you want to take a bath inside of a plastic hot tub plant container thing? Yeah, holds a lot of dirt if it matters. So I have these 2 arborvitaes, and they go in the ground. And then in the middle, the centerpiece, I have pressure treated wood made into a flower bed over top of the dead body of my dog, and then more dirt filling the flower bed. And I'll put flowers there, and not anything that you would eat, but just stuff that looks pretty. And I already have a whole bunch of daffodils popping up all over the place. Daffodils are the yellow ones, right? They have like a yellow flower and looks like a little teacup bell thing. You know what I mean? They're like funny looking. Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of daffodils. And all my pets are dead. No, I'm okay. But really, no. Yeah, it bothers me, you know. So I'm like, why? You know? I wanted my duck to get better, but, you know. So I've been wanting to podcast for a while, but I got tired of complaining about stuff. I think that makes sense, probably, right? And the more I become the man without a pop culture, I don't have any commentary to say on, like, guess what? You know that thing you like? It's terrible. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so burnt out on having a response. People are so witty, sharpening their tools. They're sharpening their wits on social media platforms, thinking of the funniest mean thing to say as soon as something bad happens. Again. I don't know. I'm just tired of complaining about stuff. I'm coming to terms with my problems with women. I don't know. What do you want me to say? Yeah, I mean, I made a bunch of episodes, but I don't like them, so I'm not going to put them up. But I wanted to give you this. And I'm like, well, you know what? Talk about that. It can be like a tribute episode to my pets. Yeah, I'm not going to get any more. And I thought about it for a minute. I'll try and think about it again. Like, what are my pet alternatives? I had a duck. I kind of like that. But they're very vulnerable. Anything can kill them. And once you have a duck for a pet, for some reason they don't fly away, or they can't, or I don't know if they clip their wings or what it is. But, you know, like before you get them. But I had this duck for so many years, and it never just flew away. It just stayed inside the fence. It didn't even try to escape or anything. None of them did. I used to have a bunch of ducks. But this is my last one, and my most favorite one. And it just occurred to me now that there's no more eggs. Yeah, like there's no more eggs. Oh no. I'm sorry, I was trying to think about bits because I have a couple duck eggs in the fridge yet. And I'm like, that's the end of those eggs. Wow. Maybe I should save them and try and make another duck with them. Heat them up. Have roosters sit on them, whatever they're supposed to do. Is it like how fish are made? I don't know. Anyway, so what are my pet alternatives? A rabbit? No, they can be fun too. I mean, when I was a kid, my neighbors growing up, they had rabbits inside the house like dogs, and they were kind of fun. They don't really make noise or anything, but if they do make noise, it sounds really creepy, and there's definitely something wrong. They don't make noises when they're happy that I ever remembered. You can tell when they're playing and stuff, fighting with a cat. I'm sure there's plenty of great YouTube videos about rabbits. My rabbit thinks it's a dog or something. Cats, I don't know. I don't need to have a cat, you know? They're good. I don't know. It might be nice to have outside. Just say, here, I don't know. I don't want a cat. I'm just not going to do that. But a cat might be useful, and I'll leave it outside. You know, like, no, you're an outside cat. But then it's still going to stink up the porch, and it's going to smell like pee. Cats just make things stink, and I hate that smell. I don't like that weird cat smell. Ugh. I don't know. I've just never been that big on cats. I don't think they're bad. I don't know. You know? Another dog? Nah. What else? Ducks, chickens. No, I don't want any of that stuff. But I know people get very playful with their chickens and stuff. I've seen that already. Like people I know. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could just play with chickens like that. And I don't know, it's weird to see people playing with a chicken. Yeah, you can do that. I also remember seeing a lady that had a pet skunk. And I was like, and she's like, no, it's descented. It doesn't smell anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I thought we're not supposed to see skunks. Aren't they nocturnal or something? So, a chinchilla. Did you ever see them? Oh, they're neat looking. They look like a big pair of feet with a little tiny... It look like a Pokemon. They look like a Pokemon came to life. It'd be a chinchillas. And it'd shock you if you touch it. Something like that. No chinchillas. Fish tank, they're neat to look at. But I've thought about this. If I was going to get a fish tank, I would just get all that cool LED vaporwave aquarium crap in the... that's like pretty much seems like all they have to offer if you're into fish tanks and stuff like that. And I would just get a really cool fish tank and put lights in it and stuff, and then never get fish or fill it with water. I just fill it with like, like Dollar Tree gel or something like that until it was filled with 5-gallon aquarium or something. It'd be all vaporwave and stuff. No, pets, hamsters, gerbils. I never liked any of that stuff. I don't care about any of that. Rats, no. I don't want spiders or lizards. Although it is neat, that one video where it seems like the lizard likes to be petted. It's like a huge lizard. And you're like, I don't want that thing to bite me and I get infected. The lizard's too big. I don't want a lizard anyway. That's no fun for me. A heat rock? Forget about it. Not even. So, birds, like parrots. I had a parakeet. I've had girlfriends. Like, I had a girlfriend who our relationship was like a series of parakeets. She just couldn't keep them alive. They're fun. Let them fly around and shit on stuff. It's great. Cats, they stink. It's the smell. I don't like the odor. Said that already. Although, cats are kind of cool. I get liking cats. Like, they're fun to pet them and everything. I don't know. No thanks. Exotic, like a llama or an emu. What? No, I don't need any of that. What's that gonna do? A bird that can headbutt me? I don't want any cocky birds. You know what I mean? It's not a good idea. It needs to be smaller than me. Turkeys. I know what that's like. We had turkeys when the progeny were young'uns, and it's a big pain in the ass. And I just told my dad, I said, no, just chop them up. And we ate them. Not attached to the turkeys. Rabbits, it's not so great. A deer, no. Who wants that? For a pet? You eat them. No, they're delicious. What else? I don't know. What other kind of pets? An armadillo? I don't think so. Some kind of weird luxury pet. I did have neighbors on the other side of the fence from me. They had peacocks. And every morning the peacocks would make these weird peacock noises. Like how roosters crow? Or peacock had peacock noises. And sometimes you could see on the other side of the fence, the tops of their feathers would just show up. It's a weird thing. Because they'd open up their things. They had whatever. It doesn't matter. So... what other animals are there? Somebody had a donkey. That's not a pet. Horses, that's a pain in the ass. It's too much pet. That's it. I don't want any weird, like, look, he got a bear cub or something. No, no thanks. A dog, some kind of different kind of dog. No. But if I was gonna have a pet, it'd be like that. Would I have another duck? No. Too vulnerable. They're too vulnerable. And when they're sick, you know, you don't always get the best medical help for your duck. Not that you want to spend money on that, because it's probably not that expensive to get another duck. But I think I've had my definitive dog experience as well as my definitive duck experience. But it's going to be so weird. It's the same thing with the dog. I was like, there's all these things that the dog did. And now that the dog's dead, like, I'll hear a noise, and I'm like, no, that can't be the dog. The dog is dead. So now there's going to be things with the duck, like, oh yeah, I got to feed the duck. It's like, you know, the sun is cracked. The duck will make noise. Like, when it was, oh, I can hear that he's moving in there. And then the duck would start making noise. I'm like, the sun's not even out yet. Just stop. So I feed the duck, so it just became a habit to just, like, you know, like, not even be awake and kind of feed the duck. And I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to put any food out. I took away, you know, after I buried the duck, I dumped out the pool of water. You know, like I don't know what you want to call it, the duck pond. I just dumped all that stuff out, and I moved all the stones and all the stuff you got to have around all that. And I dumped it out, and I was like, wow, that's done now forever. And then I took my stupid porch light, 7,000 lumens, and I took the duck pond, and I'm like, maybe I can use that for something. The pond that the duck died in. And I threw that in the shed where, you know, I don't have to worry about it. Nobody's going to touch it. So, I don't think. So, look, we're going to... Oh, never mind. I was imagining, like, hey, look, we're going to take a bubble bath inside this pool your duck died in. Nobody's going to do that. It's gross. It's gross. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to try to do that. It's a bad thought. So, anyway, I cleaned up all the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, and then this was the part that started to bother me. I don't know why it got to me here. And I didn't cry or anything. Maybe I will. I don't know if I'll cry about the duck or whatever. But it does bother me a lot. And she had this place underneath the steps. And when I had more ducks, too, they went underneath the steps under the porch, and they took straw and made nests there. So I would clean it out. I would get eggs from there. And I would put new straw on all the time, so they weren't using gross straw and all shit it up and, you know, all that stuff, because you got to clean it. So I cleaned everything out from under the steps, which is much different now because it's only one duck. So it's just this little nest for the duck of hay, straw, whatever you want to call it. And now I have like 3 55-gallon drums full of hay and straw. And I'm like, yeah, I have no purpose for these things anymore. Unless I'm going to like do some kind of mulching thing with straw, or make layers for planting potatoes or something, which I could do, I guess. It doesn't matter. There's like way you can plant potatoes with layers, and it kind of helps them. Helps you get more potato. So I don't know. It's just weird, all this different stuff. Like, I went through it with the dog, and I guess I kind of got used to it. But I still have the dog's water dish in my house, in the kitchen where it was when the dog was alive. It's just empty. Is that weird? I mean, it's still there. Like, I see it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that was my dog's dish. My dog's dead. And then somebody said something weird to me. And they said it when the dog died. But I thought of it again. And when my dog died, somebody said, oh, well, you know what they say, when a pet dies, that means somebody new will come into your life. And I was like, what? What is that? That's supposed to be like, oh, well, what? That's stupid. So now that my duck died, I thought, so what does that mean? Like, now I'm going to get like a doubly good person to come into my life? Who? I don't need any more people. No more dudes. That's the one thing for sure. Send me somebody with blonde hair and blue eyes and a bountiful bosom. Alright? So I lost a dog and a duck. Does that mean I get like double like somebody really good? Do I get a really good new pal or something? I'm being silly. I just thought it was such a weird thing to say where somebody meant well, but what they said didn't even make any sense to me. Like, well, you know what they say when a pet dies, it means someone new will come into your life. Who says that? What are you talking about? Reading books on witchcraft or something? What are you talking about? Terrible. So, yeah, you know, I like my duck, and it sucks because I thought she was getting better. Like I was like, oh, she's not feeling good, and then it seemed like she was getting better, and then she was dead. So I buried her, and no, maybe I'm gonna have a big piece of cake. I'm kidding. I don't have any cake. Not even urinal cake. You have to have really bad breath before you have that. Anyway, don't do it. So I don't know. I have nothing to say. Just nonsense. I'm tired of complaining about things. That's why I don't do it so much anymore. I did make a bunch of videos. I've been fond lately of making videos where I don't have to be in them. You know, like this one. But, you know, like I like to think that you're a peeping Tom spying on me from a distance through the bushes. And it's such a quaint Thomas Kincaid evening and all that kind of thing. Isn't it great? And I just... watching lo-fi chill jams. Look, that guy lives in there, that weird guy. So, yeah, you know, I literally came in from burying my duck, and I'm like, turned all this on, because I was kind of preparing for the setup with the house, and, you know, how I wanted it to look and everything. So, I already had it set up, and then when I found out my duck was dead, I had to go through all that stuff. Getting the shovel, burying the body, digging the hole, covering the hole, destroying any evidence that I once had a pet immediately. I have like food and water dish. There's no use for that now. That used to be everybody ate out of that. What am I gonna... Well, at least all like squirrels and chipmunks and stuff, they will not have anything to eat anymore because I won't be putting food out that they swipe from the duck or the dog. So, yeah, it still feels pretty terrible. I want my duck. All those things that she did that were so neat. She used to follow me around. I used to have, yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. All kinds of cool, menially, yet totally worthwhile, consistent daily obligations. And it was totally worth that. And I don't know what happened to my duck. It just sucks. She was old. You know, I don't know. Ducks don't live that long, I don't think. And she just wasn't feeling so good. And then she was. And then poof. Now there's another place in my yard where I have to remember, don't put any food around there. It's just not good. And then you gotta wait for a while before you can make mulch out of your dead pet. That's why I had to dig a hole that you could stand in to bury my dog, you know. I'm not short, okay? It was a deep hole. That's what I mean, like, nobody asked. Multiple people came over, chatted me up, and none of them asked what I was doing. I haven't had, like, the rectangle pressure-treated lumber box thing that has spikes hammered through it to make a flower bed. Everything was there. I guess they're like, I guess he's making a flower bed with really deep roots. You have to put the roots like 6 feet down. I had to dig in the clay and shale. I found Paleozoic spear tips or whatever. I have no idea. So anyway, I think I'm done with pets. And I don't know. A cricket in a box? Oh, come on, that's not a pet. You just get a bunch of feeder crickets, and every time one dies, you throw that one away, and you put one of the ones that's still alive in with pets. You put it in, and that's your pet cricket. I don't know how it works with the crickets. It just seems like a dumb pet. They don't get big enough to be cool, like a tarantula or anything. And that's another stupid pet. What does a spider do? I've never seen the YouTube video where somebody has a spider that emotes. Okay? Not even in Pokemon. I bet the spider is very cold. I bet it's not a loving spider at all on Pokemon. Pokemon? How do you pronounce it? Or is it like Rasta, like Mon? Pokemon. I don't know. But it's cockfighting with animals, and I think that that's inhumane. That's why animals do it. We would never let people abuse each other with electricity and lightning bolts and hot coffee in the face and all that stuff that your Pokemon, whatever it is. I know you know what I'm talking about. Pikachu. That's what I'm talking about. So, I don't know. No, I don't want a kangaroo. Not unless it had some kind of debilitating thing where I knew that it was intimidated, that it would never try to hurt me or bite anybody's face or anything like that. Like, oh, this had its front of its face shot off with a shotgun. He's not going to cause you any trouble. And they sewed it up so it looks cute. It's like, oh, it's some kind of kangaroo-like thing without a nose, and he doesn't have any claws because they cut his feet off. I don't want some kind of, what's an invalid? An Australian invalid? No. I meant in forms of a kangaroo. I'm nothing against people that are invalids. I don't want to go out either. And that's a shut-in. It doesn't matter. Look. A unicorn? No. That's just a goat where they twisted the horn when it was a baby. That's just animal abuse. Ringling Brothers. Is it the Ringling Sisters now? Or they just end it all together? Like, just shut it down. Yeah. It stinks. Uh-huh. I don't know. Yeah, I had no plan for this episode. Just, this is it, I guess. Thanks for hanging out with me. I wanted to do one of these. I haven't done one in a while. Will you even get to see this one? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I haven't decided yet. I feel like I shouldn't make podcasts. You know, like I feel like I don't really have anything to say and that you probably shouldn't be listening. It's like when you think about it, without being mean-spirited, because I'm not trying to do harm, but how much attention of a child's life was SpongeBob ever supposed to have? Any? Any at all? Probably not. So many things could have been better than letting them watch Frozen for the 12th time. But they like it. Yeah. I don't know if they should. You should let your kid have a pet, like a duck, or a defanged coyote. Oh, you'll love living with a coyote and their unique musk that they'll rub on all of your clothing and furniture, especially your favorite things. They're gonna stink like coyote piss. I don't know. I'm done with pets. I never wanted to have a monkey or an orangutan or anything that, you know, could like take shit out of your pocket or anything like that. You know what I mean? No. Oh look, the monkey has a paring knife. Isn't that adorable? No. Throw a brick at it. Good. Okay, move. Get that little son of a bitch. I know, that's animal cruelty. Sucks. So yeah, no more pets. I can't think of anything else. Howard the Duck? Well, if he was like the Howard the Duck from 1986, then yes, I would hang out with that guy. If it's the Howard the Duck from those Marvel movies, no way. That guy looks like an ugly, creepy weirdo, like an Adult Swim. Like, I would not let my kids hang out with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. All right, that's who that Howard the Duck hangs out with. No, thank you. Duckman from the 1990s, who was a detective. Sure, why not? I'm sure he's a lot of fun complaining about stuff, values or something. I don't know. I don't remember Duckman that well. I just know that it was underrated. Classic. So look, I don't have anything else to say. Thanks for hanging out with me. Yeah, I know. You probably have your stories of pets you lost and everything too. And I guess mine's pretty lame. But those were my pets. So there you go. Thanks for, I don't know. I hope you got something out of this. That's why I don't do them anymore. I'm like, this isn't nothing to offer to people to listen to me say this. I don't know. Maybe that somehow you lost a pet or actual person which has more value than a beast. I seem to think so. I don't know. Some people like their pets more than people they've known. I don't know. You know, sometimes it's harder for pets to be abusive the way that people can do, that we do to each other. Look, that doesn't matter either. Look, the point is this. Maybe there was something useful that you got from hearing about I just came inside from burying my duck. Because I have nothing, I don't know, you know. I'm gonna go make an egg sandwich. I'm gonna turn the light out. Hold on. Okay. Good night.